Welcome into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you tonight as the Blazers go down to Golden State on game 9 of their 9-game road trip. That's right, I said it. And they fall to the Warriors. Final score 130 to 120. Now, the Blazers, you got to give them credit in this one. I thought they fought hard. I really, truly did. And that's one of the first comments on the show tonight was Sean coming in and saying, hey, Gary Payton was the difference, but I like the fact that the team continued to fight. And so here's the thing. These are those type of games that we've all wanted to see, right? We've talked about this all year long. Now, we talked about at the beginning at the pregame show and talked about it a little bit yesterday too, about how realistically, I mean, they're probably not a play-in team, but mathematically, they still are. It's right there. It takes a lot of dominoes to fall, right? Blazers have to win some. You need Phoenix and Dallas to lose some, but mathematically, you're still right there. But that doesn't matter. What matters, and what has mattered all year long, is how the team plays. I've talked to you guys about it multiple times. I don't care if they lose. What I care about is the effort level in which they show, regardless of the result. And I thought today, Golden State was playing a very Golden State game, right? They shot 52% from the floor, 51% from beyond the arc. They were cooking. They got up by 19 at one point. They were up 68 to 49 at halftime. And the Blazers didn't fold. They just fought back. They fought back. Denny Avdia had a hell of a game, 34 points, 16 rebounds. He had a double-double in the first half. Pretty impressive stuff, right? Anthony Simons went out there. He had his 32 points. Donovan Clingan, 15 points, 9 rebounds. Tumani Kamara, 7 points, which is, par for the course right now, but he did his defensive thing. I thought Scoot Henderson looked good. He had 12 points. Shaedon Sharpe, you needed more out of him tonight. He only had 9 points. But regardless of the points, the team kept fighting. They clawed back. They had a chance. At one point, they got it to a 4-point game in the third quarter. They outscored the Warriors 43 to 34 in that third quarter. They cut it to 90. But then the Warriors answered, pushed it right back to a 10-point lead, and kind of that was that, right? Denny Avdia had 16 points in the third. Anthony Simons had 13 points in that third quarter. The Blazers were turning. And they had a chance. And I think that's a good thing, right? They took the loss against a team that is very, very deeply entrenched in the playoff race right now. And they went down there, and it was similar to like the Boston or even the Cleveland, right? No one gave the Blazers a chance. Oh, yeah, they're going to go down. They're going to get boat raced by a really good Warriors team. You got to give this team credit, though, because they fought. They absolutely fought, and that's what you wanted to see tonight. Taking a look at the box score, again, final score was 130 to 120. Tale of two halves for your Trailblazers. I mean, the Trailblazers, they scored 49 points in the first half. They scored 43 points in the third quarter. That tells you how locked in and ready they were to try to mount that comeback in the second half of this game. Jimmy Butler, he had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, a triple-double, his first in a Warriors uniform. Draymond Green had just 4 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. But again, you watch this game and you understand how Draymond plays, and he very much had an impact on this game, right? Quentin Post, he had 11 points, also had 3 blocked shots and 7 boards. Steph Curry, 24 points, 5 3-pointers, 7 of 7 from the line. Moses Moody, he chipped in 26 points, the career high for Gary Payton II, Oregon State legend. I won't bestow Trailblazers legend status on him. I don't want you guys to come after me. And then Buddy Hield had 20 points, 6 of 9 from beyond the arc. They had 4 players with 20 or more points. That's what makes a team like this so dangerous, is that just very even points distribution. Everybody chipping in, playing along. Santos over there, who's just a younger mini Anderson Varejao. He had 4 points off their bench to go along with 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Again, on the Blazers side of things, 34 points, 16 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals for Denny Avdia, 7 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists for Tumani Kamara, which is something I talked about. I wanted them to really attack and get in that rebound battle. They did. They actually out-rebounded the Warriors 43-40. I did say that there wasn't going to be a lot of rebounds available, so they needed to battle because, again, both teams were shooting pretty hot. Blazers shot just below 50% as the Warriors shot 53. 15 points for Donovan Clingan to go with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 blocked shots. 32 points for Anthony Simons, 9 points for Shaedon Sharpe, but you got to love the fact that he was flirting with the triple-double. As I said, you would like to have more points production out of him, but at the same time, when he goes out there and he also has 7 rebounds and 8 assists, he is making an impact in those minutes, and that is a good thing, right? You want that. I mean, darn near triple-double, that's pretty impressive. Now, 12 points from Scoot Henderson. He also had 4 assists, 2 points from Dwap Reith, and holy smokes, Jabari Walker, he had 9 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, but man, the 3-pointers he hit were clutch. They kept the Blazers, within striking distance late. They were all hard shots to make. And I'll tell you what, you guys, I've talked about it before with you guys. The times that Shacker is producing, so I go do the 5th quarter over by the radio spot rather than my normal spot up at section 330, and we overlook the court. And who's out there after every single game getting his shots up, getting work in? Jabari Walker. So it's always good to see him get in a game and then produce with those minutes and have that hard work kind of pay off, so to speak, right? So good on him for getting those points. But again, this game, man, it's just sometimes when you play a team as seasoned as Steph Curry and Draymond, right? And Jimmy Butler, obviously what they get from Steve Kerr there. And then you got the Modus Moody, you got Kevon Looney, right? The chemistry with that team. They find ways to get it done, and they found a way to get it done tonight. But when you look at that team and you say, okay, they shot 53% from the floor. They shot 51% from beyond the arc. They had 21 free throw attempts. They had 35 assists. Portland stayed with them. Portland fought hard. Portland battled in this one. 48% from the floor for your Blazers, 42% from beyond the arc. They also had 31 assists, which is very impressive for this team. Only 13 personal fouls. They played a good game. Sometimes you're just outmanned and out-talented, and the depth plays a factor in this one, and the Warriors did what the Warriors do. But to go out there and do what the Blazers did, I thought that was a hell of a game. I thought at halftime they could have rolled over. They didn't. Again, they were down 68-49. They were shooting 27% from deep at that time. Gary Payton had 16 points at the half, but the Blazers didn't roll over. They fought. They fought back. I like that. As a couple people said in the chat, SpongeBob, is that the real SpongeBob? He says Blazers offense was solid, excellent tonight. Again, good distribution, good effort. I like that. Defense, not so much, lacking just a little bit, but at the same time, you're facing a team in the Warriors who goes out there and averages what I say at the pregame show, the 3rd most 3-point attempts in the NBA. They like to let that 3-point fly. We know how good the Warriors offense can be from years and years and years of watching it. We've seen this firsthand. As long as Steph and Dre are on that team, they're going to find a way to get it done. Again, Blazers, got to give them credit for battling. If you want to join the conversation with me tonight, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number, or you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, get in on the chat with our guys, Air Weldon and Kirk and Sean, everyone who's going to use the Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week that the Blazers aren't playing to go down to Child Center and watch some 6A OSAA championship basketball. That's what you're going to do. I know you're going to do it. And if you do show up, you got to come say hi. I'll be there a couple of the days. Be bouncing around. We got Forest Grove on the map, McMinnville. There's a lot of basketball going on around the state. So you guys got to enjoy that in a little bit of a Blazer break, if it were. It is weird to have this little spot again because they play tonight. They play Wednesday against the Knicks, and they don't play again until Sunday against Toronto. So to have that little gap in the middle of the week is pretty nice if you're the Blazers. And like I said, though, this was the final game of their 9-game road trip. And I know some of you are listening going, are you talking about Burkhardt? They went on a 7-game road trip. Yesterday was a home game. I don't think that counts. I don't think it counts to go on a 7-game road trip and then come home, play 1 game, and then go straight to the airport to go to San Francisco on the second night of a back-to-back. I mean, that's basically just more travel. There was no I don't even think the guys had enough time to get their bags unpacked. You know what I mean? Like that's just torture. At least give you like 2 games. That's just weird. That's just weird. But if you're keeping track at home, Blazers now get a very, very nice stretch of games where they are home. They don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to catch a team bus. They don't have to catch a team plane. They just get to sit in their cars, drive to the arena, and drive back home because Wednesday night they have the Knicks. Sunday they have Toronto. Monday they have Washington. Next Wednesday they have Memphis. Next Friday they have Denver. Sunday, Boston. Next Tuesday, Cleveland. It is currently March 10th. They do not go back on the road until March 27th at Sacramento, which, similar to this one, is a nice little road trip because it's not a long one. Just down to Sacramento. But then they got to go to New York. Point is, a couple weeks at home, good rest, very, very nice. Now, we did talk about the mathematical possibilities of getting into the play-in. You know what? Maybe we'll look at that, break it down a little bit after the break, because we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to hit you with our drive of the night and our shot of the night. We're going to check the phone lines if you want to join in on the conversation. 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. YouTube.com, type in Rip City Radio, get in on the chat with our guys Kirk, Air Weldon, Sean, and SpongeBob. Still waiting for Patrick to come chime in. And of course, Chris J. Burkhardt is the name on social media. This is the 5th quarter presented by Coors Light on your home of the Blazers, City Radio 620.
Denny pushes, slows it down, tosses it to Sharp up top. Gets to the wing, now attacks, slides it up to Avdia for three. Buries it. Rip City has missed you, Denny Avdia. Now to Simon to the corner. Payton's on him, looks for Banton cutting. Slips through, backs up, puts it up, no good. Gets his own rebound, blocked from behind, but right to Sharp with 10 to shoot. He flies through the air, puts it in, and a foul.
Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you want to join in on the conversation with me tonight, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. And of course, you can go over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and get in on the chat there as well. And, you know, I got to keep plugging that the name on social media. You know it. Chris J. Burkhardt. Blazers, they go into Oklahoma City, Golden State. Looking at the schedule here, trying to do some mathola for you guys. They go into Golden State, and they drop one. They drop one to the Warriors, 130-120. But again, I thought they played a heck of a game. The first half, not so much. Definitely left a lot to be desired. But I thought that second half response, that's exactly what you want. They were able to get in there, do what they needed to do. Shots are falling. Defense was a little better, but still, not great. They couldn't stop Gary Payton. He was going on when he was on a tear. But again, I love the fact, and that was our very first comment in the YouTube channel there from Sean. It's just I love the fact that the team didn't stop fighting. They didn't roll over. They kept going for it, man. That you gotta love. Gotta love it. I loved it. Okay. But no, that's exactly what we want. We've talked about this for a while now. Again, we don't care about the wins, the losses, the what have you. We need the team to play hard. They played hard tonight. What more do you want? What more do you want? That's what they did. And so you take that one. I know they'll tell you there's no such thing as a moral victory. But you know what? It's a victory that you can build on tonight. That's for sure. They were able to get it going, figure it out, and kind of play respectable, if you will, right? Like they made sure that they didn't roll over. We have seen it. We've talked about it before. We've seen the games against Memphis. We've seen the games against Golden State at the beginning of the year. Think about that. We've seen the games against Utah where this team got punched in the mouth and they didn't know what to do. Right? Like what? Well, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? Well, guess what? I think the Blazers have a plan now. They get punched in the face and they know how to react to that. Now, if they can just stop getting punched in the face. The whole point is we've seen them roll over. Tonight was not one of those nights. And I'll take it. All right, let's head out to the phone lines where it looks like we have John in Phoenix chiming in. Welcome in. What do you got for us, John?
Thank you for your time, man.
He messed with me. This does not sound like John in Phoenix. Victor, what do you got?
I was going to say that, well, first of all, this game was really good. Very good very good hustle play, from Portland. That's obvious, as you mentioned, all of it is everybody chipped in, the Warriors are really tough to beat, especially in their home. It's very hard to beat them. But the Blazers in the back-to-back and also all this long trip, all of that, it makes really sense. But what I want to tell you, Chris, something really important. I don't have an answer for it. Sometimes when you ask a question, you get the answer, but still when you go home and you scratch your head, you say, well, what is that? And then you cannot observe it. You cannot digest it. My point is very important. The bad loss was yesterday, I think last night against Piston. I think the Blazers, that was really kind of a little bit put down, a little bit like a little bit, but the energy energy drawn, from Portland after
Hmm.
coming back. And I tell you what, if you look at the score, Chris, but Anthony Simon, scored 34 points. But the thing about Anthony, we cannot rely only on, it's obvious this game shows that we cannot rely just Anthony scored more than 30 points because this time the Avio scored 34 points and, we had a chance. But last night, if you look at the scoreboard, Chris, the Shade and Sharp scored 14 points. I think 17 points, around 17 points. And then Delano Band, he has scored 7 points. What I'm saying is, we know that Delano Band, we really rely on that. We just put him in the game because, he's just a 9.6, no, 6.9, tall player. The Blazers rely on that guy, and he has scored 7 points. What I'm saying is, can he score like 12 points and we could have won that game? I think that was a coaching or some execution problem. I never had answer for it. We could have won that game, Chris.
Yeah, well, thanks for the call as always, John in Phoenix, you little sneaker. But let me tell you, I like Delano Banton. I have been complimentary of him, but he is also not the best player. He is a spark plug. He brings a lot of energy, but I think you do have to be at times smart with how you use him. And in tonight's game, as you said, he played just 7 points, but more often than not, Victor, they play him in that backup guard role. And in a game tonight, when you have Denny Avdia, who is you got Scoot, you got Denny, and then you got Ant, who are your primary ball handlers. It just kind of takes away a spot for Delano. That's why he hasn't played as much in these situations. You look at it last night against Detroit, he played 15 minutes in that game, right? And then you go tonight and he plays 7, right? And part of that is just because you have Denny Avdia in there more. You have Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons. Your guards are playing, and he plays that point guard spot. I mean, yeah, he's a tall guy, and that's cool. It's nice to have a guy who's 6'9", right? And he can run the point and do his things, but he doesn't play like a prototypical like 6'9" forward, right? So he's not playing off the ball a ton. He likes to play up top with the ball in his hand. And when you have him and you have Denny and you have Simons, or you have him and Denny and Scoot on the floor at the same time, it can cause a little bit of problem. So that's where I think that comes into play with Delano Banton. It's definitely more of your situational lineups and where you can fit him in, and that matters, right? So I think that's the answer there. I do I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, he has those moments where he has points and he can go out there and be a spark plug. And I think that's when you use him most, is when you need a little bit of spark. But I don't know if that was exactly what you needed tonight. You needed some defensive stops and you needed some other things to happen. But no, I think that has more to do with why he got fewer minutes tonight. I don't think it was necessarily a coaching mispractice, if you will. I just thought it was, again, the situation. When Denny Avdia is in the lineup, changes everything a little bit. Absolutely. I mean, now you could argue, maybe you did get it so Denny's doesn't play 40 minutes, and maybe you could have gave, Delano Banton 12 and space things out a little bit. But I do think there's more to it than just he had he wasn't being used properly, or coaching wasn't paying attention, because you just got to make sure your best players are out there. And if you put it in a vacuum, Victor, like if you got Denny and you got Ant and you got Scoot and you got Shea and you got Delano, who are all kind of playing a little bit of that same spot. Like, yeah, Denny plays when you start this lineup. He starts at the 4, but offensively he goes and plays a lot of that point guard position, right? It's just you only got so many spots and so many minutes, and that matters a little bit, right? And at least with Denny, when he's not on the ball, you have a better offensive player than Delano, so you aren't losing a ton by having just a bunch of ball dominant guys on the floor. So that's my take on that. But I get what you're saying about him. He can score and he can make a difference. We've seen it happen before. I just don't know. I just don't know about the situations with him. You know what I'm saying? Like Sean says, I like Banton, but why is he getting the ball with 12 seconds left at the end of the third quarter? I want to see Sharp or Scoot taking the ball there. Too much Banton ISO. And Sean, thanks for that comment. That's a good point too, because that's if they're like I like Delano Banton, and just because I like a player doesn't mean I don't have knocks on their game. And one knock on him is, boy howdy, he likes to huck it and chuck it. Right? It's like Zach and Miri make a porno. You ever see that movie? Huck it and chuck it. Football. It's a good Seth Rogen movie, by the way. Go watch it. But no, huck it and chuck it. Football. Huck it and chuck it. Basketball in this sense. Right? And the bad part is if he hits a few, he doesn't like to let the ball get out of his hands after that. It's drive and it's shoot and it's drive and it's shoot. And the rim looks like the ocean and he's just shooting it like a beach ball. Doesn't matter if it's going in or not. Right? That's the bad part. And then when he goes into ISO ball, as you said, then it can bog things down a little bit. And guess what? He's good, but he ain't the world's best ISO player. That's for sure. Yeah, in fact, I don't think Portland has anyone in their roster right now that I would consider a great isolation player. They have some guys who like to go ISO. Jeremy Grant is a good ISO player. Anthony Simons is a good ISO player. Shea is so-so. His ball handling makes it hard for him to be a great ISO player. But Delano Banton thinks he's a great ISO player. So you do have to be careful. And to more of your point, Sean, yeah, if the clock's ticking down, I want to put the ball in the hands of the guys that I want to eventually be taking those game-winning shots, right? Like Scoot did earlier in the year. And then what'd he say after? Yeah, I like doing that more than sitting in the corner. I want to put the ball in their hands every now and then, let them have that spot. Just why not? Why not? All right, we're going to take a quick little break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, we're going to head to the coach's corner. Going to head on a game ball, do some more talking about this game. I'm going to break down some numbers during this break, see how some things play out for the play-in. What do I think is going to happen? I'll let you know. All coming up next, all right here on the fifth quarter, presented by Coors Light on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Time now for the Coach's Corner. Let's head to Chase Center down in San Francisco. Hear what Coach Billups had to say following this loss to the Warriors.
I thought our turnovers really cost us. Seemed like every time we turned it over, they scored every single time, and that's a little deflating, but I'm just proud of my dudes, man. I really am, Looking forward to a day off tomorrow for our guys. I know they're extremely tired.
You mentioned, I was just going to say, you mentioned the play of Denny Avdia. I mean, incredible stat line, 34, 16, and then throwing 6 assists. I mean, that was peak Denny tonight, wasn't it?
Well, it was, again, he just continues to get better, and this is a game that, he was a game-time decision, potentially not playing in this game, and he got out there and laid it on the line for us. I probably overplayed him, but we needed everything that he had, and he gave us every ounce of everything that he had tonight. He always does, and, him on the glass was a huge deal. We win the glass tonight against this team, and not many times we win the glass and then have over 30 assists and lose a game. It takes a special performance. They had one to beat us.
What is the next step in terms of taking these games and then winning them? Because, I mean, you're exactly right. Like, you guys are playing harder. You don't let go. And it's more and more common now to see you guys kind of get close but not be able to get over the top. So kind of what is that next step to get over the top?
Well, that's what youth is all about, Casey. I mean, you have to not turn the ball over as much, against good teams, especially in their building. You can't do it. We have to be a little more in tune defensively, instead of having so many breakdowns. Those are the, when they say young teams, that's where you falter. A lot of times it's inexperience. And I see us continuing to get better and better and better. But I say this all the time, you cannot speed up the growth of a tree. You just have to go through the process. And that's exactly what we're doing, and our guys are doing amazing.
You mentioned the play of Donovan tonight. What did you see out of him? And I feel like the Warriors can be a tough matchup for big men like Donovan because they do stretch you out, but it seemed like he did a really nice job of kind of sticking to his assignment tonight.
Yeah, he was. This is tough of a matchup for a guy like Donovan, a guy that can make threes. He made the first 3 of the game. Indecision, and it helps, but I thought he protected our discipline with it. He protected our rim 4 blocks. He did a good job of rebounding. And he was just, you think twice about attacking him at the rim when he's out there, whether he blocks it or not. You second guess that. So I thought he did a good job with that, knowing that this team and all of the cutting and all of the spacing and all of the speed that they play with, they know that when they get down there to him, it's a problem to deal with him. So he was really good. I thought he finished well around the basket as well. He was good tonight, very good.
All right, time to hand out a game ball tonight. I think that one's pretty easy. You got to give it to the guy who had a double-double in the first half. 4 assists away from a triple-double, a good rebound game after not playing last few. But Denny Avdia, 34 points, 16 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals. Not a bad game at all. Did have a couple turnovers, 6 of them, but you know what? He was working his tail off. And as I talked about earlier about him finding ways to get to the line, he did so today in this one. Portland got to the line 17 times. Denny had 7 of them. Again, he finds a way to just get a large chunk of the Blazers' trips to the line. All right, now before we go, I want to talk about the play-in real quick. This was my quick math, me looking at the certain situations and how things play out. So right now, looking at the play-in, because Shacker, he's been in my ear the whole time. He thinks that there's no chance that the Blazers get to the play-in. And you know what? It's not that he's wrong. It's that mathematically it's correct. They have a chance. It is just an absolute long shot. There's no 2 ways about it. That's just the fact, right? But there's still some chance here there's, Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance, right? Right now, looking at the standings, the Dallas Mavericks are 10th in the West at 33 and 33. Now, Phoenix is at 11th at 30 and 35. Portland is right behind them at 28 and 38. And then, of course, you have San Antonio. San Antonio losers of 3 right now, and they lost tonight to the Dallas Mavericks. So check the math there. Portland is 5 games back of Dallas, and they are 2.5 back of the Suns. The Suns currently 2.5 back of Dallas. Here's how things are going to shake out, though. And this is what I was talking about with Shacker. I think it has less to do with the Blazers and more to do with the Suns and the Mavericks. Now, the Suns, they have a gauntlet of a schedule to end the year. And again, they are currently below 500. They are not a great team. It baffles me that they aren't great when they have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But you look at their remaining schedule, they have 3 games. 3 games, quick math in my head. 3 games remaining on their schedule. That is a game against Chicago, a game against the Spurs, and a game against the Raptors. Those are the only 3 games left on their schedule out of the 17 games they have left to play that are against teams below 500. They have a gauntlet to go through. They have 2 games against the Rockets still, 2 games against the Celtics, a game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have Minnesota in there, 2 games against the Bucks, Oklahoma City, New York, all on that schedule still. They have a gauntlet to go through. Now, I went through the schedule, looked at some of the games. Like, they do have 2 games against Sacramento. Those are winnable games. Obviously, San Antonio's in there. Did I not say San Antonio the first time? Maybe I did. Yep, they're there. That's winnable. I have them going about 7-10 the rest of the way. That put them at 37 and 45, thereabouts, give or take, right? Dallas, on the other hand, Dallas currently 33 and 33. Of their next 16 games, 8 of them are against teams that are below 500. Now, you're like, okay, that sets up well, but you also going to understand that they are without Kyrie Irving, without Anthony Davis. That schedule, which should be easy, is going to find ways to bite them. I did that quick math. If you factor in games that are close, they're probably in that 7-9, 6-10 range too, because I think they're going to drop some, just like they have. They are winners of 1 of their last 6. Okay. As for Portland, of their next 16 games, 7 of them are against teams below 500. Now, Portland's remaining schedule, they still have the gauntlet, right? They still have Cleveland, they still have Boston, they still have Denver on that roster. 2 games against the Knicks coming up. But where things get interesting is the fact that they have Toronto on there twice. They have Atlanta, who is currently 7th in the East, but below 500. They have Chicago, they have San Antonio, they have Utah on that schedule. And then the last 2 games of the year get really, really interesting, because the last 2 games of the year are against 2 teams. One of them currently the 3rd team in the West in Los Angeles. The other team, Sacramento or Golden State, who they just lost to tonight, who might be fully locked into where they need to go for the playoffs, right? Could be. Still a lot to decide on that top end of the West because it is so close. But with 3 weeks to spare, you might run into a situation where those 2 teams are resting a couple of their guys and letting the playoffs come, and Portland can sneak in and grab those wins. And if that's the case, Portland might end up right around that 37 and 45 mark, which is kind of where Phoenix will be and pretty close to where Dallas would be. So, yeah, where is this going to all sort itself out? I think I have Dallas going 39 and 43, Phoenix going 37 and 45, PDX going close to that 37 and 45 too. So I think math checks out that Dallas probably holds on, right? But when you look at their schedules, which I did the job for you, Shacker, he said, you need to take time, look at their schedule, see how that plays out. That's why it's interesting, is because of the injuries to Dallas and the absolute gauntlet that Phoenix has to run through to end this year. And with Portland semi-healthy, outside of obviously DeAndre Ayton, who I don't expect to play the rest of the year, Robert Williams, who knows, and then Matisse Thybulle, who might return during this homestand. He was assigned to the Riv City Remix today and then recalled, which means he basically went down there to get a practice in while they were out of town, which is a very good thing. shows that he's rehabbing in the right direction. Put those things together, and maybe Portland sneaks a couple of those close games. I mean, again, the games they've lost right now, those are playoff teams. They have 7 of their next 16 against teams that are below 500 that they can win those games. Now, we've seen them steal ones against good teams before. It's the NBA, anything can happen. But the way those schedules play out, Portland could sneak in. Still requires a lot of work. It requires Phoenix to get beat up by that gauntlet, and it requires Dallas to lose far more than they win down the stretch, and that is possible with no Kyrie and no AD. That team still has talent, though. They still have a ton of talent. They are able to get the win over San Antonio tonight, thanks in large part to Spencer Dinwiddie, who dropped 28 points. They had 23 points from Najee Marshall, 22 points from Kessler Edwards, 26 points from Klay Thompson, who decided to turn back the clock. So they still got talent there. Max Christie's a good guard. They got talent there. We'll see where it goes. I just think regardless of what happens, there's some intrigue there. Man, Phoenix, they squandered an opportunity. That gauntlet to end the year, that's rough for any team. 3 of their next 17 games against teams below 500. That's nasty work. All right, I think that's going to do it. I think we're going to get out of here. Blazers, once again, they fall to the Golden State Warriors 130 to 120. And as we said, the Blazers will start a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game homestand. Whew, that's a lot of counting. They will start that homestand on Wednesday against the New York Knicks. I've hinted a couple times to you guys already that there's some good OSAA state championships going on this week. So I will be out once again. Chad will be filling in. He will have the pregame show, Blazers Game Day, for you starting at 5. Then he'll have the Blazers pregame show for you at 6. He's running it all. He's having a hell of a time. That's why he's the boss man. He'll be there for you, and then I'll be back in the driver's seat against Toronto, and then the rest of the way. I don't see me leaving again. I like it here too much. You guys are awesome. To John in Phoenix, thanks for the call. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Once again, the Blazers go down to Chase Center. They fall to the Warriors 130 to 120. For the boss man, Chad Doing, for Michael Shacker back at the home studio, absolutely killing it. I have been Chris Burkhardt. You guys have been awesome. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Blazers Knicks, first game of a 7-game homestand, and then you can listen to it all right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.